Welcome to the Adam Rothstein Hockey Podcast. This is your podcast for all things hockey. On this podcast, we talk about past history to the modern day and what you can do to grow the sport. I am your host, Adam Rothstein. All right, let's get to the show. Good morning, everyone. It is Sunday morning at the time of me recording this, and I wanted to talk about getting back to the basics. And I know this is episode 101, so I thought, hey, why not get back to the basics? Yeah, pretty funny, Adam. So, when it comes to the fundamentals of hockey, skating is arguably the most important. More important than checking, more important than stick handling, more important than shooting. It is the most important one because you're going to be out there each time on the ice for about a minute and change for each shift you go out. On. I definitely did. When I was starting out, I had no foundation of skating. I was 12 at the time. I was hugging the wall, and I think at the second or third time I finally got it, and I was good. I was good to go at that. I had the basics of going forward. When it came to skating backwards, that was... that's always going to be a little bit of, a bit of a struggle for everyone. But the one thing that I dominate in is just, going straight back. I'm not necessarily going to be too fancy about it. I can still go in a semicircle and everything, but, you're going to dominate going backwards in a straight line more than, turning and then just crossing over backwards and then just giving the pass. I mean, that's a little more complicated than just, skating backwards straight. Now, how do I go about doing this? Well, I go about it as, let's see, working on dominating going backwards on the semicircle or going backwards on the circle. If you can go backwards on the circle, whether it's fast or slow, you can go in a straight line. And if you can go in a straight line, you can play defense and you can block shots and do all that jazz and break out as well. The breakout is you're going to have your team, whether you're down a man or you're at full strength, you're gonna work on moving it out of the zone. If you can get it out of the zone, the other team has to reset and come back in. And if that's the case, guess what? You buy yourself some time and you can get a change if you need it. And that's critical to keeping fresh legs on the ice. Whether you're a coach or you're a player, you need to make sure that everyone's ready. And part of being ready is not overexerting yourself and making sure as well to get breaks. And also, depending on your skill level, also making sure everyone gets some playing time, as well. So we want that from everyone. We want to make sure that we're getting the time there because the superstar can't be out there for 5 minute shifts. Yeah, you can't do that. I'm sorry. That is unacceptable. Even Alex Kovalev when he was in his prime had a 5-minute shift, but the head coach of the Rangers at the time punished him. That was a punishment. That wasn't a reward. Yes, he got the most playing time of the night, but at what cost, too? They lost that game, too, by the way, because Kovalev one of the stars of the Rangers in '94, overexerted himself, and when he got back to the bench, he couldn't go out long, and you need to change, and you need to take a look at the clock. You need to also measure, how long you've been going. If you've been going back and forth 3 or 4 times, I think, that should be an indication of you need to get off the ice and get a change. 3 or 4 times, if you're in the zone once of the, you break out immediately as you get on, and then the other team gets it back, and then you're in your zone for a little bit, and then you at least can get the puck to the O zone. You need to get off and change when you're on that rush as well. Get off and change. Let the other players, get off and change, and get back to the bench after a few of those times. And you need to measure that as well. And if the coach says short shifts, and you go out and you're in your D zone, your job should be to make sure your team breaks out and get the changes in, and then those coming on, get out and get going and get scoring. That should be your mentality. And you're not going to score every shift, but your goal should be to, do your job, work the systems, and come back out every shift ready to go. And are you going to have bad shifts? Of course. You could actually have 2 goals scored on your shift as well, unfortunately. So that is a very unfortunate thing. And yet you can dominate and score 2 goals on the same shift as well, just by yourself too. So that's also possible to have happened as well. So that's another thing. When it comes to skating, make sure your skates are the right size. I just bought some new skates. And depending on what happens later today, whether I go to the clinic or not, I'm going to try them out definitely next week at my beer league game as well. So there is that. So I will give them a try as well over there. So there's that. So make sure, get fitted, go to Pure Hockey if you have to, go to your local rink, get measured with your feet, make sure you're good there, and it'll certainly help you making those turns and transitions when you're the right size. If you're like a half, let's say I'm a 9 in skate size, and if I'm wearing a 9.5, that's going to affect your transitions. That's going to affect your power too. Now, guess what? You may have been used to the 9.5, but you're better off with the 9, and it is going to be a little tighter than at first if you've been wearing a size up for a little while now. And I didn't realize this until Tori over at Skate Zone measured my feet. She measured my feet, and I was like, I didn't know I was wearing it. I didn't know it was a 9.5. I'm a 9 with socks on, so didn't know that. And I think with a 9.5, you can still, you can wear thick socks and do all that. And it does help with, skating and just going forward and everything. And you're not going to be, it's one less thing you have to worry about when you're skating and playing hockey. Sticks, let's talk sticks. Wooden sticks are the way of the dodo bird. They're gone, mostly, unless you want to just spend $20. You can still go out and purchase one, but for the most part, everywhere, The only sticks I saw at Skate Zone over the weekend were let's see, they were just composite sticks. They were Reeboks, they were Bowers, they were CCMs. That was it. That was it over there. And there was no wood. There's no Sherwood really anymore. I mean, no Sherwood wooden sticks. I'm not really seeing that anymore. Or you have to like order it online almost as a custom order now. So stick with the Reebok sticks. Go with the composite. You don't have to spend $300. You can still get it for under $200 as well. Depending on the size, it's gonna be easier to find it. And definitely go to those hockey equipment exchanges. Oh man, so that takes care of it. Stick and pucks. You're gonna want to have those light skates as well, and a stick and puck is great for that. It is a stick and puck, definitely. You're not putting too much pressure on yourself. You're not out of practice. You can work on your transitions. You can do blue line to blue line sprints, and you don't have to overcomplicate it. And you can just have fun skating around with a puck too. And unless you have like a synthetic ice board at home in your garage, you're going to be out at the rink spending, now up to $18. I was online and like looking at this, and it's like $18 for a stick and puck for 1 hour. Yeah, and I remember it used to be 15. That was, and that's a shame too, because and like, even though it's on an Olympic rink, the $3 extra is not worth it over there. But that's more of my opinion. If you can, that's where I am at least. But if you can find something at, like around $15 for an hour, God bless you, because that's the thing with, finding this, finding the right price point. Adult clinics or just clinics in general. The adult clinic now used to be $25 per the 90 minutes, and that's a fair deal. Especially when you have the hour as well for the old stick and puck. Now it's $35. So we had, let's see, I think, that's a 40% markup of that. It was not 25 to 30. It went from 25 to 35. And that is a 40% markup of the price. And think about this. 35 for an hour and a half, you're looking at essentially $12 an hour, or $12 per 30 minutes of that. And when you can go and to a stick and puck and not wear yourself down too much, I think that still is a good deal. I also get registered, by the way, because the 2023-2024 season has begun, and you need to get registered if you want to be on teams or you want to register as a coach or something. Go ahead right there and do it. So that will benefit you this season. I definitely do want to just say that, it's not the best. There are definitely some times where you're going to want to take that week off, and I understand too. I mean, it's like, it's tiring. It's like, it's Sunday today, and the last thing, I want to do is go hard in a practice too. And if you want to take that week off, go ahead too. I'm not blaming you too. And that's okay. The one thing that separates hockey from most other sports, I've got to say, is the equipment. We wear so many pads and so much. And I talked about this with Matt in the last episode. We wear a helmet with a cage, or we wear it with some hard plastic, hard clear plastic for the face shield. We wear gloves that are thick, that are 14 inches, a size 14 or whatever. We also do, the skates themselves. We have the shin pads. We've got the hockey pants. We've got the chest protectors, elbow pads as well. And some have wrist protectors. I'm not sure if anyone still has those, but they probably do. I think as well. Or their gloves are just a little bigger to protect their wrists. I don't know if anyone has that extra piece. Goalies have much more. Their pads are humongous. Their pads are about like 2 times thicker than their legs at some points. And that says a lot about them. They have so much, and to carry that weight and go 20 miles an hour on skates is insane. And it just shows you the strength and the endurance that these NHL players have and these European players have and all these athletes have. And it's incredible. I definitely think that, if you have, when it gets cold enough and you can go out to skate on the pond, if you're up north, go ahead and do that, because, there is no price for that. Essentially, it's just, get up early in the morning and secure the pond, and, the ice is yours. And if someone comes by, go skate, let them skate, do their thing, but secure that ice if you want to be the only one out there. So get up early in the morning to do that as well. Sticking pucks. Yeah, and that'll save you money on sticking pucks. Registering with a beer league is fine. As well, there are newcomers that come along with this. Excuse me. They come along and they're like their first year. They do the adult clinic. They learn the basics, because sometimes I definitely see that people do have their struggles, but it's easier said than done. I'm a mess. I'm sorry. I'm really trying here. I'm trying. Okay, so here's the thing. They come in, they have no knowledge of hockey, they've never played it, or they don't know how to skate or shoot, and they just need to learn the basics. That's fine. There's definitely programs you can do. There's stuff you can do. You're brand new to it. And there's leagues specifically for newcomers. And it's insane, too. You're brand new. It's okay. And can this sport be a little expensive? Yeah, it can. But I think it's okay to come in and play some hockey and do all that stuff. But yeah, I think that is the thing. Yeah. So definitely, yeah. So you don't have to pay every time, but if you're a part of a league, you'll be more incentivized to come every week and go, because you've already paid the $400 for the year or whatever the price is for your league. So definitely get out and go play some hockey every Saturday as well, or whenever your games are. So you'll be more incentivized when you just play, like when you pay the flat fee of $400 or something. Oh man. Rollerblades. If you do have a pair of rollerblades, I think that's pretty cool. You definitely don't need ice. They go for about the same as the regular ice skates, but the blades on the, you can do it on the tennis court, you can do it on the road, not on the, or do it in the street, or like in a parking lot rather. go to the parking lot or whatever, like a basketball court is outdoors, and just stay off the streets. But, that is where you can practice, and you can do it out in the sun. You can do it any time of day or night, and you're not really restricted by the hours. You'd be restricted by the seasons, maybe, depending on where you live, and if it's raining outside or something. But other than that, it's fair game. And that's also another reason why I recommend you getting a pair of rollerblades. If you want to play adult hockey and you don't want to hit the ice, rollerblades are a great way to practice as well. And a roller league is also a really good way to stay in shape and just enjoy the game as well. A lot of rollerbladers out here, and there's that. Okay, so this will do it for this episode of the Adam Rothstein Hockey Podcast. There was no video today, so I apologize there. If you would like to support me, rate this on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you get this podcast. 5 stars if you think it's worth it, and write me a little review. I want to know, what do you think of these episodes? What do you think of the podcast? I just want to know, and heck, if you want to give me 3 stars or 4 stars or something, but I think above all, I would want to see the iTunes reviews and the Spotify reviews and the Google reviews as well, just so I can get a point of reference for this. So come on, give your pal Adam a point of reference on this. But above all, if you really want to support me, you can go to audible.com and purchase your audiobook of Growing Hockey. This audiobook covers everything from hockey, or it covers the history of the NHL, how it came from Europe and Greece, and it just developed, and then all that stuff to make the game, and I cover McGill University all the way to the modern day in regards to the history. Cover the history of the skates, the sticks, the pucks, all that stuff as well. I also talk about my top 20 players of all time. And if you would like as well, yes, if you'd like to use your Audible credit for that, you can go to audible.com. I'll leave a link for that in the show notes or description if you're on YouTube. And with that being said, take care.